monte vraiment pour aller à l'église ici.
Oui, l'escalier est un peu raide, mais plus loin, la pente devient plus douce.
Reposons-nous un instant. Retournez-vous, mon oncle, et regardez la vue. Quel bel emplacement pour une église.
La vieille porte est encore en bon état. Ce lieu a été choisi pour que l'église domine le village.
C'est vrai. J'ai remarqué dans tout notre voyage que les églises et les cathédrales étaient placées pour dominer le voisinage.
C'est une belle idée. Cela souligne que la religion doit dominer la vie. Mais allons voir la façade principale.
Elle est très différente de celle que nous avons visitée. Le clocher surtout m'intéresse beaucoup.
L'architecture est caractéristique du style breton. Entrons avant la prochaine messe.
Comme elle est belle dans sa simplicité. Mais elle est très vieille.
Oui, elle n'est pas en très bon état.
Les gens doivent être très pauvres ici.
C'est bien vrai. Il faudrait beaucoup d'argent pour la réparer. La vie économique impose à l'art bien des restrictions. Mais il ne faut pas trop tarder. Je veux vous montrer la façade d'une autre vieille église bretonne.
Ici, à Audierne?
Non, à Pont-Croix, à 5 kilomètres d'ici. Nous avons à peine le temps de la voir avant le déjeuner.
I have no idea. I learned French in high school, 2 years of it, and it all poured out onto the floor when I started learning other things in college. So maybe somebody in the comments can explain what happened there. But hi, I'm Skip Elsheimer. Welcome to the AV Geeks Lunchtime Streaming Show, where we watch old 16mm films, and that was from our collection, the AV Geeks collection. And it's part of a series teaching French, and takes place in French, and everybody talks in French, and it's French. This next film is from the Nelson's collection, and it's part of that series that we've shown this week of the management series about interpersonal dynamics, communication, safety, morale in your oil rig team. And this is the film. It's missing the title, but it's just naturally different. Enjoy.
This is Bill Thompson, your district production superintendent. The business of producing oil. Behind him are 20 tough years of experience, coming up the hard way. Roughneck, roustabout, gang pusher, farm boss, assistant to the superintendent, and now one of your best production men. Yes, Bill is smart. He has the know-how and the experience to produce oil. He knows a lot about tools and the materials and the methods of oil production. But about men, well, Bill is on the ball there too, now. Bill sees men as they are, each an individual with individual feelings, needs, behavior, likes and dislikes. Fat, tall, thin or short, quick or slow, serious, stubborn or hot-headed, lazy, ambitious, worried or scared, he sees all he can. But Bill didn't always see men this way. He used to see them like equipment, all standardized, packaged, and ready to go. A false sense of justice made him see every man the same. To each should go the same rewards, the same treatment. But this looking at men as he looked at equipment had brought some problems into Bill's life. After he had been in charge of a district for a while, his lifting costs had begun to mount. It was hard to put his finger on the cause, but one thing was obvious. Transfers and turnover of labor had increased sharply after Bill had taken over. Bill was sharp enough to realize that directly and indirectly, labor was the factor increasing lifting costs. Bill pondered. Weren't the men as good as they used to be? Could it be me that is making the difference, he reasoned. Bill's investigation led him to visit an adjoining district. He found supervisors there talking about company policy, material delivery, corrosion troubles, and causes of personnel problems. Bill was interested in this talk about the handling of men. He listened closely to it and got some clues to the real causes of his own troubles. Others were having personnel problems too, and others were maintaining and increasing their efficiencies by giving special consideration to the differences in individual workers. Bill's old theory that all men are exactly alike began to fade. Because he was alert and deeply interested in making good, Bill listened to the world around him.
Everybody's different. No two people alike.
My boss knows I'm different.
We're all human beings, not machines.
Now, fortunately, Bill had a wise man for a boss. He, too, had noticed the increase in lifting costs, and likewise, he had spotted the trouble. Maybe he even planted the thought for Bill to visit with others we don't know. But nevertheless, he was genuinely concerned and was ready to help when Bill came to him asking,
Say, what is this business about treating everyone differently? I've always thought we should treat them all the same.
Jim, with his 30 years of experience among oil field workers, was impressed by Bill's question and was ready to talk with him about the problem. Bill remembered Jim's many illustrations capped with observations such as, I like to think that a good foreman has got to know and must really know every man in his gang or crew. Somehow he's got to get below the surface and find out what makes one man different from the others. So slowly, Bill began to understand. He continued to handle a lot of equipment, noting the specifications with care, but he took even greater care in noting men. His skill at observing their differences increased. Bill began seeing men as human beings, as individuals, and as a result, the men began to recognize Bill as a real leader. Improvement came about in every work assignment. The men felt more secure under Bill, and lifting costs returned to normal. In the old days, Bill walked alone. But now he works with men and tools. Others are watching and talking with him. His ability, skill, and desire to work with the differences in men attracts attention. Yesterday, for instance, Jim West, the division superintendent, invited Bill's help in recommending a man for greater responsibilities.
That's why I want to see you. I want you to help pick the foreman. Bill, you've handled that area down there a long time. You know those men, you know their qualifications. And I feel that you're better qualified than anyone else to pick the man.
Before Bill answered, he requested Jim to describe the district in which the man would work, and found that the selected man would be transferred to an old field on the pump. Except for a new deep horizon producing high-pressure gas. An old established camp, warehouse and office, high, dry, and dusty with no big towns. And the men who were likely prospects came to Bill's mind. One he quickly eliminated because of repeated refusals to accept any additional responsibility.
Well, that shouldn't be too hard. I have 2 or 3 men down there right now I think could take over without any trouble.
Bill continued with the description of the men. Ben had the know-how, and he had taken advantage of all the extra training he could get while working. Not very talkative, inclined to take chances, but a good, steady record. Tom was quick on the uptake and absorbed his instructions rapidly, but Henry waited around for a restatement to make sure. Henry had a lot of dogged determination and patience. Impulsive Tom dashed, Henry plodded, but they both finished jobs in about the same time. Ben was a good, well-servicing unit operator. He liked machinery. Ben's men didn't seem to get too much instruction, but they worked together well as a team. Maybe because the men just liked good-natured, dry-witted Ben. Even though the men worked hard, there was time to enjoy it. But Henry was the maintenance man of the bunch. You always saw a clean job where he was. Too much cleaning up, repairing and painting, some of the men said. But Henry slept nights because he had few emergencies. He was a good planner, too. His gang seldom came back for parts or tools that had been forgotten. Maybe his ability at planning came from having to fend for himself at an early age. He was single and supported an aged mother. Tom had his men spend a lot of time on ingenious gadgets, labor-saving, time-saving ideas. He said, the more time I save, the more time I have to rest. But he never did. Didn't even stay home too much. People said his wife was a sort of a crackpot on health. So Tom spent his time on cranky wells. He loved the problem jobs that took a lot of figuring. Bill remembered these men in confidence, what they had said and how they had reacted. And other clues he had to their differences came to his mind. Ben, Tom, Henry, all just naturally different.
Yeah, I got to see if there's more in that series. That was pretty great. Takes care of his ancient mother, or was it aged mother? I could have sworn he said ancient, but yeah, there you go. So this next film is also part of the Nelson's collection, and it could have been a film strip. It's propaganda. And I think it's about productivity, trying to get people excited, building morale for the war effort. Enjoy.
Listen, do you hear it? That is time ticking away.
Disappearing into eternity.
Adding minutes, hours, days to all our yesteryears.
Time lost is never found again. It goes like the wind, like the tides, waiting for no men. Like electricity, time is of the moment only.
It cannot be stored.
Its energy is instantaneous.
It must be used now or not at all. This very second will never come again.
By losing present time, we lose all time.
There is no other time than now.
By time, all things are produced and judged.
Production is man-hours. man minutes, man seconds.
They add up, those seconds, those minutes, those hours.
They add up to man days, man years, and men's lives. Men's lives.
There's a responsibility.
Men's lives hinging on production, hinging on the right gun, the right tank, the right plane, the right ship, the right material being at the right place at the right time.
There's a responsibility.
Whose responsibility?
The foundry man's, the riveters, the order clerks, the shipping clerks.
The foremans, the draftsmen, the machinists, bookkeepers, welders, typists, inspectors, managers, assemblers.
Whose responsibility is it to get things done on time? Ask that of Bob Lockhart, why don't you? Bob Lockhart, Marine Private First Class, to whom time means nothing forevermore, in Pamascan, Island of Madura, in the South Java Sea.
Whose responsibility?
Ask that of Andy Fletcher, why don't you? Andy Fletcher, Chief Bosun's mate, for whom time ended at 1:19 degrees, 11 minutes, 33 seconds east, 14 degrees, 21 minutes, 40 seconds north. Ask the children of Mrs. Clark, why don't you? Patsy and Tommy, 3 and 6, who'll never know 30 or 60 since bombers came out of the dawn.
Whose responsibility? Whose responsibility is it, anyhow?
Surely someone has the answer. You, over there, how about it? Whose responsibility is it, mister, to see that we win this fight?
We got generals, ain't we? An admiral, and an Army and Navy and Air Force and Marines, ain't we?
Yes, sure. We've got the men, all right. Fighting men, all of them. Of America, of Canada, Australia, Britain, China, the Netherlands, of all the United Nations. Millions of two-fisted men eager for battle. But bare fists won't win this war. Empty hands, empty stomachs, empty skies, empty oceans won't win this war. This is a war of machine guns, of rifles, of bullets, grenades.
This is a war of jeeps and scout cars and half-tracks, of anti-tank guns and shrapnel, of mortars and howitzers.
This is a war of foodstuffs, food for our fighting men, food for our allies, food for the home front, food to feed lovers of liberty.
This is a war of things like parachutes and life rafts, helmets and shoes, pup tents and shovels, and 1,000 other items of supplies.
This is a war of dive bombers, of long-range bombers, of interceptors, of fighter planes and transport planes.
This is a war of battleships, of cruisers, destroyers, carriers, mosquito boats, and landing boats, of tankers and cargo ships and troop ships.
This is a war of machines. This is a war of production.
All-out production for all-out war. Production now, this minute, this second, to do the job that must be done. It's a job of speed and more speed and more speed. A job of using time now to fight time lost. Time lost. What becomes of it? What does it add up to? It adds up to this. It adds up to unmade ships and unmade planes, unmade tanks and unmade guns. 1 million plus necessities with which to fight and win this war, unmade. It adds up to Bataan and Corregidor, Hong Kong and Singapore, Burma and Java and Greece and Holland and Belgium and Poland and France. It adds up to the children of Mrs. Clark, the children and women of China, Malaya, the Philippines, England, Denmark and Norway, the Low Countries, Latvia, Czechoslovakia. It adds up to Andy Fletcher, Chief Bosun's mate, and the men on destroyers down in the China Sea, the men on the cruisers down in the Java Sea, the men on the freighters down in the North Sea. It adds up to Bob Lockhart, Marine Private First Class, and the men of Dunkirk and Smolensk, Hangzhou and Palembang, Luzon and Borneo.
Wait a minute. Can you hear me?
Yes. Who are you?
Bob Lockhart, the fellow you've been talking about. And there's something I want to tell you. I've been thinking. I've got plenty of time for that, you know. Plenty. And I've been thinking of how it's the little things that add up. The little things that don't seem so important one by one, but added all together mean defeat or victory. Like the nail, remember? For want of a nail, the shoe was lost. For want of a shoe, the horse was lost. For want of a horse, the rider was lost. For want of a rider, the battle was lost. Yep, that's how they add up. Those little lost things. Those little lost things like seconds and minutes. I saw a chart once when I was a mill hand. And here's how it went.
When 6 million workers lose 1 minute a day each, there's 100,000 productive hours lost in that single day.
When 100,000 productive hours are lost in a single day, there have been 34 work years lost between sunrise and sunset.
Between sunrise and sunset. You can win a war or lose a war between sunrise and sunset. A captain once told me that just one extra plane might swing the balance of power to victory. Think of all the extra planes that could be made from all the minutes that are lost between sunrise and sunset. Plenty, I'll bet you. Plenty. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not complaining. Maybe my number was up, come what may. But I'd have sure liked it better if I could have knocked down that flying monkey from the sky before he got me. And I might have, too, if only...
If only what, Bob?
Well, it's kind of hard to know where to start exactly. You see, turning out this stuff for war is more than only one plant's doing, or one shop's doing, or one man's doing. It takes a lot of plants and a lot of shops and a lot of men and women all geared in together, all of them moving like clockwork. And no matter where a man or a woman works, on the production line, in the accounting department, the clerical department, the estimating department, the drafting department, or anywhere else, each of their jobs has to dovetail perfectly if schedules are to be maintained. I suppose that where my number first started to be up was when Molly McGivern, a typist in the clerical department of a prime contractor, got a call from her boyfriend.
Well, I don't see why you can't use Eddie McCracken's car. He's got a C card, hasn't he? And besides, how would I look all dressed up and going to a party on a bus? Well, all right. But if we've got to take a bus, we'll have to leave earlier, and that'll hardly give me any time at all to dress. Gee whiz.
Now, while Molly was fretting, her boss had received a rush order from Ordnance in Washington about changes to be made at once on a new AA gun that was destined for us. So the boss called in Molly and dictated instructions to be airmailed that night to a subcontractor, giving specifications for immediate changes to be made in production. Typing those specifications took time. And remember, Molly had a big date for that night. So she rushed to get done and made lots of mistakes. Well, correcting mistakes that you make when you're careless just doubles the time that you'd spend being cautious. So she added an hour to time lost already, and that caused more trouble. The order went airmail, but it missed the last pickup till later that evening, and that was too late for delivery next morning. See how it's growing? That snowball of lost time? And the bigger it gets, the more danger it has. But let's follow the order. After it got to the factory, it arrived in the third mail at 2 in the afternoon, and though it was marked rush, the girl in the mailroom thought otherwise. It just went in the pile with the rest of the stuff, marked for Murdoch, the order clerk. Now, Murdoch's okay, but he's gabby. So along about 4:30, when he wasn't far off from that order marked rush, he thought of a story and had to go tell it to Sweeney. And that reminded Sweeney of a story. And then Murdoch told another. And before you knew it, 15 minutes had slipped away. By the time Murdoch got back to work again, it was 15 minutes closer to quitting time. And he was still 20 minutes of work away from that order marked rush. Guess what happened? Of course. It stayed on his desk until morning, instead of reaching the shop superintendent in time for the night shift to start on. So that was a second day lost. No, a third, because the night shift equals a day of work. And nobody seems ever to think of the difference that even a minute can mean when you're fighting a war.
Holy cow! Sorry. One of my interns just gave me some candy. That was intense. That was so good. Oh, wow. They just lay it on thick. I mean, we have other films that are like that, but... And I was like, because I had scanned it, and it was like, well, there's no motion in it. It's all just still. So I didn't really get a chance to listen to the soundtrack. Wow. That was nuts. All right. Friday. Sometimes I feel like showing you a bunch of TV commercials, and so here's a bunch. I think these were from the 60s. I think they're almost all black and white. But here are some TV spots. Enjoy.
There's a difference in tuna. Without their labels, these 3 leading nationally advertised brands of tuna look identical. Yet one is so much better that if you were to compare them, most of you would choose this one outstanding brand. Hard to believe? To prove this fact, labels were removed. Food experts and thousands of housewives from coast to coast tasted, compared them without knowing which brand was which. The results? One brand was preferred 3-1. Star-Kissed chunk-style tuna. One reason is that only the smaller tuna are packed under the Star-Kissed label. You get lightness, finer texture, and better flavor every time. And that's why Star-Kissed tuna is better naturally, no matter when or how you serve it. Try it, taste it, and you'll know why Star-Kissed tuna is preferred 3-1 over other leading nationally advertised brands.
Don't be blue and gloomy on wash day. Why not be a happy housewife? Because you found the way to really save work and time and money. It's a fact. If you're not using Vano, you're working too hard. With Vano liquid starch, there's no mess and bother with dirty pots and pans. For with Vano, there's no cooking, no boiling. Vano liquid starch is ready to use whenever you choose, just as it comes from the bottle. And here's the neatest trick of all. Pour Vano liquid starch right into your sprinkling bottle. Then with the Vano starch as you sprinkle method, you do 3 jobs in one. You starch, you sprinkle, and you do the bluing, because the bluing's already in Vano liquid starch. After sprinkling, roll the clothes, and soon you're ready for the smoothest, easiest ironing ever. With Vano starch clothes, there's no lumping, no sticking. Try Vano liquid starch next wash day on frilly blouses, on shirts, little girls' dresses, and play clothes. Get Vano liquid starch at your grocer's. Yes, if you're not using Vano, you're working too hard.
Here's a tip from Regal Pail. When you've just come in from the duck blind, take time to give some attention to your shotgun. Clean out the barrel with an oil-soaked cloth and wipe off any moisture. And here's a tip for you beer drinkers. Reach for Regal. Know you're right, then take it easy, take it light.
All you need to know about wine in 2 beautiful words. C-R-E-S-T-A, B-L-A-N-C-A. Festa Blanca. Festa Blanca. When you serve or order any one of the fine wines in Shenley's famous Festa Blanca family, it shows that you appreciate quality. For Festa Blanca wine is the finest this country has to offer. So here's all you need to know about wine in 2 beautiful words. C-R-E-S-T-A, B-L-A-N-C-A. Festa Blanca. Festa Blanca. Today enjoy Festa Blanca California Sauterne. Sip, taste, compare, and see why the most generous compliment you can pay is Shenley's Festa Blanca wine from Livermore, California.
The finest beer from far or near is Krausen beer brewed by Rainier. For old-time flavor and old-time cheer, it's Krausen beer brewed by Rainier.
Wonderful memories of the good old days. Now it all comes back in every foaming glass of Rainier old-time Krausen beer.
Double-aged, twice as mellow, deep-down heartiness. Rainier old-time Krausen beer, true to the tradition of the great Krausen beers of the past. The beer we remember as beer at its best.
The finest beer from far or near is Krausen beer brewed by Rainier. For old-time flavor and old-time cheer, it's Krausen beer brewed by Rainier.
Zoom, zoom, zoom. Oh, Kraft Cottage cheese blends flavors to please. Made here in the West.
Zoom, 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 zoom.
For salads it's best.
For Kraft is best.
Yes, in salads, Kraft Cottage cheese blends with the fine flavors of our western fruits and vegetables so harmoniously. In all kinds of salads, Kraft Cottage cheese, never too salty, goes perfectly with the sun-ripe sweetness of our flavorsome fruits. Never too mild, Kraft Cottage cheese goes perfectly with our wonderful western vegetables, too. Here in the West, where salads rule supreme, Kraft cottage cheese is king.
That's a fact, folks. Kraft cottage cheese is king.
Given to your community chest. You help support the boys, takes care of their every need. Only 1 minute out of each day's paycheck for homes of their own. San Francisco, your community chest equals breakfast, lunch, and dinner for kids within. Deserve the kind of care you give your own. 1 minute a day buys good citizenship, keeps kids in neighborhood centers. You off the streets, teaches them how to think straight. Takes the thrill out of street brawls and petty thievery. Remember, yours is the helping hand that befriends those who have no friends. GI, something to smile about again. These children need your help, the kind of help that's easiest to give. 1 minute's worth a day, it means so much.
Shop Smith, a complete power woodworking shop in your own home. With Shop Smith, an amateur can do a professional job of woodworking. Set up as a table saw, it will handle small and large pieces easily and quickly. Shop Smith is a precision machine engineered to industrial specifications. It's easy to make good-looking furniture when you own a Shop Smith. Furniture that you can live with and enjoy with the good feeling that comes from knowing you made it yourself on your Shop Smith, the 5-in-1 power woodworking tool that gives you a lathe, an 8-inch table saw, a 12-inch disc sander, a horizontal drill, and a vertical drill press, all in one rugged precision machine. Shop Smith, the 5-in-1 power woodworking tool.
Oh, Kraft cottage cheese is made here in the West. It's perfect, so perfect for salads.
Yes, a perfect blend in fruit or vegetable salads. Here in the West, where salads rule supreme, Kraft cottage cheese is king.
That's a fact, folks. Kraft cottage cheese is king.
Kraft cottage cheese is made here in the West.
And in fruit or vegetable salads, Kraft cottage cheese blends perfectly. Here in the West, where salads rule supreme, Kraft cottage cheese is king.
That's a fact, folks. Kraft cottage cheese is king.
Kraft cottage cheese.
Made in the West, Kraft cottage cheese harmonizes perfectly with our flavorful fruits. Here in the West, where salads rule supreme, Kraft cottage cheese is king.
That's a fact, folks. Kraft cottage cheese is king.
Zoom, zoom, zoom. Oh, Kraft cottage cheese blends flavors to please. Made here in the West.
Zoom, 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 zoom.
For salads it's best.
For Kraft is best.
Yes, in salads, Kraft cottage cheese blends with the fine flavors of our Western fruits and vegetables so harmoniously. In all kinds of salads, Kraft cottage cheese, never too salty, goes perfectly with the sun-ripe sweetness of our flavorsome fruits. Never too mild, Kraft cottage cheese goes perfectly with our wonderful Western vegetables, too. Here in the West, where salads rule supreme, Kraft cottage cheese is king.
That's a fact, folks. Kraft cottage cheese is king.
For Western salad we suggest Kraft cottage cheese.
'Cause Kraft is made here in the West.
And Kraft is best. La 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 la.
The quartet is quite right. Kraft cottage cheese is best. Made here in the West to harmonize with our Western fruits and vegetables in our wonderful Western salads. Kraft cottage cheese is never too salty. It's a perfect taste blend with our sweet, flavorful fruits. Kraft cottage cheese is never too mild either. It's a perfect combination with our rich flavored Western vegetables. And here in the West, where salads rule supreme, Kraft cottage cheese is king.
That's a fact, folks. Kraft cottage cheese is king.
The butternut baker is ringing the bell.
The butternut baker's a story to tell.
Freshness, flavor, and quality, too.
Butternut superb, butternut superb, butternut superb is the bread for you.
Ooh, what a big loaf.
But oh, so light in texture.
The announcer delivers a commercial.
Well, so he'll have something to talk about. Let's push him up.
For freshness, flavor, and quality, Butternut Superb Bread, the family's favorite, is superb in flavor.
Outstandingly superb.
Superb in freshness.
Outstandingly superb.
Superb in quality.
Outstandingly superb?
Yes, outstandingly superb for freshness, flavor, and quality. Butternut Superb Bread.
The butternut baker is ringing the bell.
The butternut baker's a story to tell.
Freshness, flavor, and quality, too.
Butternut superb, butternut superb, butternut superb is the bread for you.
Try Butternut Superb Bread today.
The butternut baker is ringing the bell.
The butternut baker's a story to tell.
Freshness, flavor, and quality, too.
Butternut superb, butternut superb, butternut superb is the bread for you.
Ooh, what a big loaf.
But oh, so light in texture.
The announcer delivers a commercial.
Well, so he'll have something to talk about. Let's push him up.
For freshness, flavor, and quality, Butternut Superb Bread, the family's favorite, is superb in flavor.
Outstandingly superb.
Superb in freshness.
Outstandingly superb.
Superb in quality.
Outstandingly superb?
Yes, outstandingly superb for freshness, flavor, and quality. Butternut Superb Bread.
The butternut baker is ringing the bell.
The butternut baker's a story to tell.
Freshness, flavor, and quality, too.
Butternut superb, butternut superb, butternut superb is the bread for you.
Try Butternut Superb Bread today.
The butternut baker is ringing the bell.
The butternut baker's a story to tell.
Freshness, flavor, and quality, too.
Butternut superb, butternut superb, butternut superb is the bread for you.
Ooh, what a big loaf.
But oh, so light in texture.
The announcer delivers a commercial.
Well, so he'll have something to talk about. Let's push him up.
For freshness, flavor, and quality, Butternut Superb Bread, the family's favorite, is superb in flavor.
Outstandingly superb.
Superb in freshness.
Outstandingly superb.
Superb in quality.
Outstandingly superb?
Yes, outstandingly superb for freshness, flavor, and quality. Butternut Superb Bread.
The butternut baker is ringing the bell.
The butternut baker's a story to tell.
Freshness, flavor, and quality, too.
Butternut superb, butternut superb, butternut superb is the bread for you.
Try Butternut Superb Bread today.
The finest beer from far or near is Krausen beer brewed by Rainier for old-time flavor and old-time cheer. It's Krausen beer brewed by Rainier.
Want to know the real secret of Rainier old-time Krausen beer? Well, it's in the brewing. You see, Rainier old-time Krausen beer is brewed once, like ordinary beers, then it's brewed once again to make it twice as mellow, twice as hearty. Now, it's this double brewing, the true European krausening process, that brings out the real old-time krausen flavor of beer at its best. Now it all comes back in Rainier old-time krausen beer.
For old-time flavor and old-time cheer, it's Krausen beer brewed by Rainier. The finest beer from far or near is Krausen beer brewed by Rainier. For old-time flavor and old-time cheer, it's Krausen beer brewed by Rainier.
You know, lots of folks are talking about this wonderful, delicious Rainier old-time Krausen beer and the real honest-to-goodness old-time flavor. Well, Rainier Krausen beer is double-aged, double mellowed by the longer, costlier, true European krausening process. It's brewed once, then once again, to bring out all the deep-down heartiness of the great krausen beers of the past. The beer we remember as beer at its best. Rainier old-time krausen beer.
For old-time flavor and old-time cheer, it's Krausen beer brewed by Rainier.
Groceries for the day. 1 minute, madam. I've nothing to sell you, but I do have something important to tell you. Now, this you can see is a prime frozen label. In that block of ice, the finest food for your table. This is the farmer in excellent mood. He wins blue ribbons for his wonderful food. The food that's chosen for prime frozen. This is the packer, neat as a pin, who packs the fresh food that the farmer brings in. The U.S. inspector, the government eye, who sees that the standards are kept very high. This is the grocer who's happy to tell you this food is the best he could possibly sell you. This is the customer pleased as punch at the food she's buying for dinner or lunch. This is her husband who says, gee, it's funny, the flavor is tops, yet you're saving me money. And this is the family in a ravenous mood, enjoying that wonderful prize-winning food, the food that's chosen for prime frozen.
Have you ever seen a box of magic cookies? Like this? Is the magic in the taste? They're delicious. But what else? Well, suppose thousands and thousands of these cookies were eaten. Do you know what would happen? A magic doorway would open to fun, adventure, service. All these things can come true for girls everywhere who are waiting to join the Girl Scouts. And how can boxes of cookies do all this? Well, we said they were magic cookies. They're really Girl Scout cookies. And they not only can do these things, they will, with your help. So when the Girl Scouts come to your door, answer their call by buying a box, several boxes. And while you're enjoying these delicious cookies, know that you are contributing to the making of fine young women of tomorrow.
I'm Lex Boyd, folks, and as you can plainly see, I'm taking a shower and shampooing my curly locks the modern, easy way with Eucalyptus, the bar shampoo. Watch this lather. Eucalyptus means eucalyptus oil, glycerin, and coconut oil, a regular hair beauty treatment in soft or hard water. Love that fresh eucalyptus smell, too, and there's nothing so easy to use. No bottles to break, no tubes to squeeze, no caps to lose. Okay, a quick rinse. And that's it. Boy, oh boy, the head sure feels good. Eucalyptus does a swell job, folks. My wife swears by it. And so do the kids. A big bar of Eucalyptus costs only 35 cents and gives you more than 25 shampoos, luxury shampoos for just about a penny each. So take a tip from Mr. Shampoo himself. Try Eucalyptus, the bar shampoo that's wonderful for shower, too. You'll like it.
And here's Jeannie Shores, Miss California of 1952.
Hi, everybody. It's time again for our wonderful California State Fair. You know, this year there's loads of fun and new entertainment for the whole family. So come to the State Fair in Sacramento, August the 28th through September 7th. Just everyone will have fun at the State Fair this year. The women will enjoy the dazzling fashion shows, the breathtaking Hall of Flowers, and new ideas in homemaking. For the men, there's exciting horse racing, the newest in agricultural, industrial, and business ideas, and 100 thrills a minute for the youngsters. Oh, and then, of course, there's the fireworks display, plus spectacular night shows with Hollywood stars. Be sure and come and bring your entire family to the great California State Fair in Sacramento, August the 28th through September 7th. I'll see you there.
Here at last are the window coverings you've been waiting for. Lightmasters, the new vertical Venetian draw draperies that are so easy to operate. With a simple pull of the cord, Lightmasters vertical panels open or close, giving you perfect light control. You can direct the soft filtered light as much or as little as you wish to give your home new warmth and beauty. And look, you can draw back the vertical panels too, just like regular draw draperies. Lightmasters do double duty. They replace old-style horizontal Venetian blinds and draw draperies. But that's not all. Lightmasters are dust-proof, need no dusting month after month because dust just won't cling to their vertical surfaces. Use Lightmasters for every room in your home. They come in a complete selection of beautiful fade-proof decorator colors. Thousands of homeowners now use Lightmasters exclusively because they've discovered that Lightmasters are far better. Before you buy any other window covering, visit your nearest Lightmaster representative.
The wizard, and that's because he comes from the land of Oz and Oz. Ding dong.
Every morning at the break of day, the clear, creamy notes from the wizard's Golden State cowbell are heard throughout the wonderful land of Oz and Oz. That's the signal for the wizard's gorgeous, glamorous Golden State cows to be off to work, off from the fantastic land of Oz and Oz, off to bring you the creamiest, dreamiest milk you ever tasted. Golden State homogenized milk, the milk that gives you cream, plenty of real, rich, creamy cream in every drop. No wonder it's the most popular milk in the whole wide, wide state of California. For Golden State homogenized milk comes only from the sweetest, freshest, most carefree cows. Rich, creamy, homogenized milk from cows who eat nothing but carefully selected four-leaf clover. Yes, straight from the wonderful land of Oz and Oz comes richer, fresher, Golden State homogenized milk. At your door or at your store, we hope you'll enjoy the milk that gives you cream in every drop.
The milk that tastes just like a dream is Golden State with lots of cream. He's the whiz, the whiz, the whiz, the wizard of Oz and Oz.
The finest beer from far or near is Krausen beer brewed by Rainier for old-time flavor and old-time cheer. It's Krausen beer brewed by Rainier.
Yes, old-time flavor, old-time cheer. That's the deep-down satisfying refreshment we enjoy again today in Rainier old-time Krausen beer. brewed once and once again, double-aged and twice as mellow. Rainier Old-Time Krausen Beer, the beer we remember as beer at its best.
The finest beer from far or near is Krausen beer brewed by Rainier for old-time flavor and old-time cheer. It's Krausen beer brewed by Rainier.
Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of men and women who share their experience, strength, and hope to solve their common problem and help others to recover from alcoholism. The only membership requirement is an honest desire to stop drinking. Our purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety.
Science in business. With the marvelous electronic microscope, scientists can see the infinitesimal molecules that make up the structure and substance of all matter and life. While business executives now get answers to all kinds of business figure problems faster and more accurately than ever before from another revolutionary machine, a machine that actually thinks. The Frieden fully automatic calculator is the thinking machine of American business because it handles more steps in figure work without operator decisions than any other calculating machine. Payroll calculations, inventory, invoices, statistics, interest figuring, all are done quickly and accurately. Ask your nearby Frieden man to demonstrate Frieden figure thinking in your own office on the Frieden fully automatic calculator, the thinking machine of American business. Science in business. Today in modern observatories, scientists solve the intricate mathematical problems of astronomy with telescopes that look a billion light years into space. And in modern offices, the intricate mathematical problems of business are solved with a machine that actually thinks, the Frieden fully automatic calculator. Exclusive features produce proved answers on the Frieden with fewer operator decisions than on any other calculating machine. Operators need no special training because the Frieden thinks its way through all kinds of figure work. Payroll calculations, inventory, invoices, statistics, interest figuring, all are done automatically on the Frieden. Ask your local Frieden man to demonstrate the Frieden on your own figure work in your own office. The Frieden fully automatic calculator is the thinking machine of American business. Science in business. In American industry and business are machines that do the manual work of millions of men. But here is a machine that thinks. The Frieden fully automatic calculator actually thinks its way through business figure problems, reduces overhead costs for management, lightens and speeds the operator's tasks by automatic figure thinking. The Frieden performs more steps without operator decisions than any other calculating machine. You can actually see the mind of the Frieden at work as it produces proved answers with uncanny speed. Payroll calculations, inventory, invoices, statistics, interest figuring, all kinds of figure work are done automatically in a twinkling by the Frieden. Call your local Frieden man for a demonstration of the Frieden fully automatic calculator.
Wow. Where am I? That was a lot. So what's interesting is that last series of those commercials, those adding machine commercials, it said science and business, and it was the exact same logo as, or same typeface as Science in Action, which was a series that came out of the Academy of Science, the San Francisco Academy of Science, which is pretty great. And yeah, so all of these look like they are San Francisco related, kind of regional commercials, which is why they're probably so inexpensive. Boy, there's some songs in there. There's a lot of beer commercials that are very similar to the Rainier beer ones that we saw. And it's only so we did a bunch of them for the Duke Ad Views project, and there's a bunch of Utica Club ones, which are actually hilarious. Oh, thank you, Miss Cynthia. California Academy of Science, not San Francisco. Anyways, Utica Club, for some reason, they got it, and they got funny and really good. So everything prior to that, though, was the same. They sold beer the same way. Either it was like some animated character selling the beer, or it was a bunch of people singing. And, you know, barbershop quartet-esque. Like, look how great our beer is. Where everybody's having a great time drinking our beer. But anyways, I thought that was a lot of fun. Especially those magic cookies, the Girl Scout magic cookies. That's how they should sell things now. But thanks for tuning in. I very much appreciate your eyeballs this week and today. Oh, Barry Grauman, who, and if I might be mispronouncing his name, but he watches the show like later. And comments oftentimes picks out people, the names of people that are narrators or, you know, actors. And he said Debbie Drake is still alive. Debbie Drake, the woman yesterday who had an exercise little segment in 1961, she's still alive. So exercise might be doing something good. But anyways, thanks for tuning in. If you like what you saw, hit the thumbs up, hit the like button. You can use the super thanks button in YouTube or ko-fi.com/avgeeks or patreon.com/avgeeks. Those are great ways to support us. And we'll see you on Monday. Everybody have a great weekend, and we will see you soon.